Recording in progress.
It's going to be kind of weird to start the meeting with just an open audience. So I was just going to start the meeting. Yeah, and then we could pause the meeting and go into executive session. So,
Have a good meeting.
you ready, Amanda? No, I can't hear anything.
You want this open? The door?
Yeah.
Oh, April 9th is our meeting. April 9th. No, that's our meeting. April 9th? Yeah. What was it?
Okay, the time is 6:30. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Or call it into executive session, or because we're not actually going into. Amanda,
What?
we're not actually calling the meeting to order. We're just calling that we're going into executive session, right?
Yeah, and then state the RC does.
Okay. So the time is 6:30, and we will be heading into executive session pursuant to RCW 42.30.110(1)(I), discussion with legal counsel about legal risks of current or proposed action. And we will be in there. How long are we going to need, Frank? Approximately
I would say until 7. I think we have
30 minutes?
I think we have enough to talk about.
Okay, so we'll be in there approximately 30 minutes until 7 p.m. And then I pause this, right? Time is now 7 p.m. and we are out of executive session. And it is time to call the meeting to order. It is 7 p.m. on Monday, February 5th, and this is a City Council regular meeting. If I can have everybody please silence your cell phones and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Did you hit record?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah, I did.
Oh,
You were in the other room when I hit record. Yeah, because there's a little pause button here down at the bottom now.
okay.
Okay, can we take roll call?
Councilmember
Ogle.
Rounds,
Here.
Councilmember Smith,
Here.
Councilmember Burke,
Here.
Councilmember Dowdy,
Here.
Councilmember Hall,
Here.
Councilmember Frymark,
Here.
Councilmember Houston.
Here.
Okay, everybody is present and accounted for, and we will move on to items not on the agenda, or citizen communications for items not on the agenda. First on the list is, I hear Frymark, Miss Frymark. I should know it after hearing it a dozen times, so I apologize for everybody when I say your name wrong. We do have quite a few people on the list here, so if
gonna
we
be
can keep it within the 5 minutes parameters.
Sure. Meg Frymark, and I represent an HOA in Woodland East on Gun Club Road. I'm just here to say thank you to the mayor. I know he's not here, for attending a meeting, a Zoom meeting with Rock Northwest and two of our developers last Friday. I also want to say thank you to Councilmember Smith and Councilmember Frymark, who it wasn't organized that way, but they did. They were there to listen in, and I thought it was great. I want to thank the mayor for actually following through on that, and also that I believe on the agenda for the next meeting, we may have one of our speakers from Rock Northwest come and talk to the council. But I think as much as I come up here and whine a little and complain and tell you sad tales, I want to tell you that I appreciate, and my community, which a lot of have come tonight, appreciate that the mayor followed through on the meeting and that we are going forward with talks, and that's all we can hope for right now. So thank you.
Thank you. And just so everybody knows, the mayor is online right now, listening to everybody. So as long as we're speaking into the mic, he could hear you more clearly as well. Waskas, Miss Waskas? You got two different topics.
Yes. Good night, everybody. I forgot my papers where I was writing what I wanted to say, but I think I have it already in heart. So, first of all, I want to say thank you for the council members that vote no for the Golden Parachute. I'm proud of you. Melissa Dory, Monty Smith, and John Burke, thank you for that. Probably it's a topic that everybody will say we had to get over it. I don't think we should to get over it so we can prevent it that happen again, because that was a great damage to the city. Also, it's in my heart to say that respectfully but firmly that the other council members that vote yes should to apologize to the city. That day right here, that was crowded of people with the urgency and their pleading, almost to begging to please say no. And you guys say happily yes. You didn't listen to the citizens. So I think if you guys have an ounce of integrity, honesty, transparency, you should to apologize to the city. And you know who is the two of you I'm talking about it, Mr. Terry Hall and Mrs. Carol Rounds. The others are gone. We should expect, if they were not in cahoots with the old administration, they should be here apologizing. But it's all I wanted to say about it. Next is about the park in Scott Hill. And I am a resident of the Meriwether neighborhood. And that is going to impact really bad in our neighborhood. Maybe we are out of time to do anything else, but at least we wanted to be here, what is going on over there. I'm live next to the clubhouse when we see the hills over there. And before the city says it has an agreement, and there's some papers around, I don't have it in my power, but some of the residents there has it, about they agree to just have a emergency gate on the skirts of the hill where the clubhouse is, and it will be just used for emergency in case, you know, fire trucks or whatever, and they be closed all the time. So we wanted the city to honor that. It's going to be impacted. Our neighborhood is a peaceful place. We love to be there. Not saying that they're going to destroy the view and the wildlife is going there, but also is that these tournaments are going to be not for our children, but for entertainment of adults, adult tournaments coming from different places. So strangers driving around our peaceful roads. What it comes with adults tournaments, there is always alcohol. It could be drugs involved. It can be something else that it will impact our neighborhood. Not talking just that also, but some unlicensed vendors. People looking, I mean, there is not enough place to park over there if there's a tournament. So they were looking for places where to park in our neighborhood to walk up. So are there going to be parking, and we hope they don't park in our driveways, but looking all around, and since we are the next to that emergency gate that we hope it doesn't open to the public, we're concerned about it. And if the lights, the sound, I mean, our windows just face right there, and you know, we are not happy about that. So I just wanted you guys to honor that, at least that gates keep closed for the just emergency. So thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Ream, Scott Hill Park.
Hello, everyone. Monica Ream. I live in Meriwether Estates also. I also would like to address the Scott Hill Park. My first question is, I received this letter end of December, or January, beginning of January, for them reapplying for their permits to do Scott Hill Park. I talked to most of the people in our neighborhood, and I think you guys can, you know, and only 3 of us in our whole neighborhood got this letter. By law, everyone that is within a certain distance, if I'm not sure of the exact figures, like 100 yards away, should be notified. But I think everyone in our neighborhood should have the right to be notified about this, because it will affect everyone in our neighborhood. Now, how Bernice was saying about the access gate, which we were promised to be only an emergency exit and entrance, that would leave one entrance into Scott Hill Park is on Scott Hill Road. And if they are proposing 462 parking spaces, I don't see everybody going up and down that road. They're gonna park in our neighborhood and they're gonna walk up the hill. We've also been told they are gonna host beer leagues there. Now, I know you guys live in our neighborhood. I don't think anyone in here wants people that have been out playing ball all day in the sun, drinking beer, to come drive their cars through your neighborhood. It's just, this whole place up there is not appropriate for that type of a activity. We even have a lady in our neighborhood that all 3 of her kids play softball, basketball, everything. She doesn't even want it there because she knows what the traffic is like getting in and out of these fields that host them. Now, up in Kalama, they built a new, big, huge, gorgeous sports facility. 90% of the time I go by there, it's empty. So why do we need another one? Ridgefield has one. Why do we need one here? We don't have places for people to stay and spend money in our city. We sure as heck have nothing besides fast food restaurants to eat out at. So what is that going to benefit our neighborhood for? Also, this property is owned by the city. When all this came about back in 2016, we came to every council meeting trying to get this stopped. The city owns this land, and we did the math from the figures that were provided to us. It would have to be open 365 days a year, operational 22 hours a day to make the money that they need to sustain this park. So if that doesn't happen, who is left to pay for this? All of us here in this room. And you know what? With between the utility bills being what they are and the property tax hikes going up and we don't want to pay more money, especially for something that's going to be ruining our neighborhood. And then there's also the fact that it's, you know, the mayor has said repeatedly about going over all the real estate the city owns and selling it off because we don't need all this and we need money in our city. This is a perfect opportunity to do that. Now that's a wetland right behind there at the bottom of the hill, behind my house. We have deer, we have fox, we have coyotes, we have raccoons, we got everything. We got Canadian geese currently because it filled in like a lake. We have ducks, we have egrets, we have cranes and herons. What is their impact going to be on them? This is a protected wetland. We need to have something done to stop this. I just don't understand why you would put it there. You have this land that they bulldozed to put apartments here where the old ball fields are. That would have been a much better place because it's right off the freeway and it's not trying to go up these giant hills in there. And they're also putting in RV parking. I dare anyone in here to drive an RV up Scott Hills Road. Just try it once.
Thank you. Mr. Pettit?
Good job, Monty.
I had to think about it 3 times before I said it to myself.
I'm Rick Pettit. I own and operate Remnant Farms Feed. You all know me. I've been coming for about 5 months. I have a few different topics. First one is barricades. In the last 13 months, I've had 3 vehicles come through the intersection at Sherman Way and Guild Road, jump the curb, over the sidewalk, and destroy this or that of my business's personal property. And 2 were impaired drivers. The 3rd was a hit and run, so I don't know if he was impaired or not. 1 was insured, 1 was not insured, and the hit and run guy never had to pay either. If some kind of barricades could be put along the sidewalk so that the people who couldn't drive could at least not go through my stuff, I'd really appreciate it. Because I'm going through a lot of hard economic times right now because of other issues we've already talked about. So if we could make my life easier, that would be really groovy. Also, the trees on the other side of the road where the stop sign is, the limbs have grown down, and most of the time you can't see the stop sign until you're right there. But when you're an impaired driver, I don't think you give a rat's red one that there's a stop sign there or not.
What road was that again?
Sherman Way is where
Sherman
the
Way.
stop sign is. Guild Road is the road they make a drive-through of my business.
Sherman Way, check the stop signs.
Yeah. The second one, it's sort of related to my plight with the road, and that's the company known as Advanced Excavation Specialist, AES, and I'm making a formal request that they be put on some kind of non-rehire list. There was lots of stuff they could have done better in that whole project. I'm sure we can find somebody better to do excavation than that company.
What company was that again?
AES.
AES.
All the way from their signage to their flaggers, to the fact that they were off more than they were on, to the fact that they put in a new curb at Grote Trucking, and now Grote Trucking can't get their lowboy into the yard, which is part of their business. So that's how I feel about that company, not to mention how they've treated me in the last few months. The third topic is my damage claim. You guys are all off the hook. I was informed by AES's insurance company that if I can't hire a $25,000 forensic accountant, which the city won't even hire, then I'm out of luck. And since they've already almost ran me out of business, it's kind of laughable that they're telling me I have to pay for that. So anyway, that's where we're at. You guys have a great evening.
Thank you, Mr. Pettit. All right, Mr. Lynette, I got you on here 3 times. So I think you have.
Yeah.
You
Good
can
evening,
handle it all in 5
council.
minutes.
Yes, sir. I have to put all 3 in 5 minutes? Okay.
Well,
Probably
your
can't do it,
best.
but I'll try. So I had an opportunity today come on South Pekin Road, heading kind of northeast, whatever that is. I realize the city has gone through a butt ton of work in the last year, part of it affecting Mr. Pettit, but somebody missed Pekin Road. You know, it looks like our NASCAR drivers are trying to miss all the potholes that are on that road. I mean, some of them you could fish in.
so I think we were awarded a grant for that recently.
Okay.
I think we discussed that in our Public Works meeting. And did you end up signing something for that grant, Todd? For Pekin Road?
Yes.
Okay.
Pekin and Gills, yeah. So
Okay,
it's
that's
on our
good.
list. We're taking care of that.
Yep. So it's on the list. And
Thank
it
you.
looks like it's been approved. So.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Then the other topic is kind of with Meriwether and with the 503 is a county road, a state road, correct?
Yep.
And how much input did the city have with them, how they're going to get in off of 503? I mean, they just building a road out of that new development that comes right into Incel. They're going to have traffic control there. I don't see how they could put a roundabout in. What's the plan? I did notice today, and these folks in Meriwether are going to experience that school buses, trucks, all sorts of things are leaving 503, coming onto Gun Club, working their way up to, is it Willow that goes across Willow, goes into Meriwether, and then comes out, whatever it is, it dumps out by the Promised Church. I think they're going to enjoy the increased amount of traffic going through there. So I watched two school buses, big school buses, go through there that don't normally come through my neighborhood. I live on Pine Street. They don't normally come through there. So I don't know. What are we going to do? What does the city have any input to that? Because it doesn't look good. I mean, I realize there's no going to stop that apartment complex. It's going in. But I foresee some real tragedy with people being in accidents because people are impatient now, and they're going to get more impatient. So that is a concern. And then my last issue is, I'd like to ask the council, how long before these council meetings do you all get your decision packages? How long do you look at, you don't get them just before you come to the meeting, I'm assuming. So how long before you have them to study the issues do you have those? How long?
Friday.
Pardon me?
We get them Friday.
We start getting info like Thursday-ish,
Sometime, yeah.
and then final agenda kind of established by Friday.
Or is that, I'm asking a question, I'm not being condemnation here. Is that long enough? Because some of these are pretty complicated issues, and you all have jobs or you have lives and other things to do. And some of these are complicated issues that seems like it takes more than 3 days to talk about them.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay?
Yeah, we could delay it if we felt we needed to.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I can definitely see your point.
All right,
No.
well, thank you. Didn't make the
and
5
then-
minutes, I doubt it.
As far as the highway is concerned, as far as that improvement, my understanding is that they have to improve, I think, halfway on the highway where they're redoing the intersection, but that would be more of a Travis Goddard question, I think, as far as what they're required to improve and what their plans are on it. So,
Because their entry that's coming out of that complex right now is almost directly into Incel.
Yeah.
It's not quite, it's offset a bit.
and I think we approved to reduce the lot size down. So I think that subdivision it's gonna be houses like 90 houses right around there. So it's not gonna be 252 apartments anymore.
Oh,
So it will be significantly lower than what
that's
the
better information than I had.
So actually, they're still in planning process, so there's
So
something
nothing's-
they're considering. So they're
Okay.
already approved for the apartments. They're going through planning now to see if the housing's something still that they want to do.
see if it's viable for them to do.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's not a set in stone thing yet.
So nothing's guaranteed on that.
So I guess you figure if an apartment has 2 cars, a minimum of 2 cars, and that's going to be impactful. Already it's busy coming from Meriwether coming on, and then us coming out of Incel and people getting out in Gun Club. And yep, it's concerning.
Yeah, and just so, like, council didn't have a decision on that one.
Yeah.
That property was zoned for multifamily, so that never came to council for approval or denial. It went to, I think, the hearings examiner, and as long as they're meeting the code, the city can't deny them. That's the struggle that the city has in that.
I do understand that.
So-
I'm not unfeeling to that because I do realize if you're zoned properly and you got the money and you're willing to make the improvements, you can do it.
Yeah.
But I'm concerned about the fact that we're probably going to see an uptick, and maybe I could be wrong, in motor vehicle
Yeah,
accidents.
I think everybody up here will share your same concern. I'm not going to speak for everybody, but I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure
Okay,
we're all
thank
in
you.
the same boat.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Yeah, that's my phone. Oh, my life.
Mr. Blau?
Good evening, everyone. I'm here to talk about, first thing, I have a neighbor that's got a barking dog. Barks, barks, barks every morning. And I'm not sure how to approach it.
Call the city.
Okay. I'm just concerned that it doesn't bark most of the time, but there is a certain amount of the morning time it's out there and just barking and barking. What's going on? Next Planners Days, our next meeting is the 20th, and it'll be the same night as City Council. So anybody that wants to come and do something other than City Council, that's where I'll be. We have some new princesses. They are Princess Alexis, Princess Savannah, and Princess Nora. And if you don't already know, Princess Savannah is Councilmember Dowdy's daughter. So we're excited to have our new princesses this year. We'll have a meeting with them Monday and get ready to start selling raffle tickets. And I'm planning all the parade and fireworks and all the other good stuff that we have every year. And we'll have a few extra events going on, some to do with the Historical Society and Laluska, and a strong Woodland's Strongest competition this year. So look for some extra stuff, and if you want to get involved, we need people to pick up prizes, to get prizes. And did you have any questions?
Can you shoot us an email before the princesses come in here to sell tickets? So
Yeah,
we can
the
prepare with cash
chaperone.
this time?
The chaperone will be in charge of that. We'll make sure
Okay.
we'll be able to coordinate that pretty easily, I would imagine. And then the art contest that went out to the schools it's done on the 15th of February. So hopefully the papers got to the kids, and that's ages 5 through 12 throughout the whole district. And hopefully those papers got to the kids, and we'll get some good art contestants this year. Thank you.
Yeah, and I would say to file a complaint with the about the barking dog and the address, and Can you do that online, Amanda? I would think that would be the best scenario at this point. And you live a couple houses down from my in-laws, so I have a feeling I know which house you're talking about because they have the same complaint. Is that Mr. Perry?
Scott Perry, live on Pekin, and I served on the Lake Committee for some 10 years. And one of the main things that we tried to do was to control the height of the water during the wintertime, because homes over on the Clark County side, those have been there for many, many, many years, and much of their retaining walls, if they had a boat dock and things like that, they're quite old, and we had established actually a level, and we had the control of turning on and off the pump to control the water. I've been here 23 years. I've never seen it as high as it is today. And over the weekend, I had several people contact me that were concerned about their different properties. Most of the docks are they go up and down, they're on poles. If they go over those poles, they just float away. And quite frankly, you don't just pull them back and line them back up. I happen to be fortunate. I have one of the biggest walls in the place because the planner changed his mind, changed the policy when I had to get mine redone, so I could probably hold back the Columbia River. But everybody else has got a little different situation, and I'm really concerned about it. I did ask this morning at Public Works, and I was told, yeah, the pump's working and so is the outlet. Well, the outlet is designed such that when the lake is full, when the river is full, the lake doesn't drain. On the other hand, the pump is continuing to pump. We had the control of the pump before, and we'd shut it off depending on the level of the lake. I was told today that, the state doesn't listen. I'm hoping that with Todd's position with Pacific Corps, that he has a little more influence with the state. When we want the water turned off, it really needs to be controlled. And thank you, I appreciate it. Does anybody have a question?
Did you catch all that, Todd? About the water level of the lake?
Yeah, when we get done with this, I can address several of these things because I just didn't know if you could hear me or whatever. So, yep. Thank you, Mr. Perry.
Okay. So that is it for everybody on my list. Is there anybody else that's not on the list that would like to speak to items not on the agenda?
Yes, there's one, sir.
One more. Okay. Come on up here. And you can state who you are if you want to, or
Yeah.
it's completely up to you.
My name is Andrei Ivanov, and I came here without to actually really not ask for anything, but more so to introduce myself and the group that I came here with. I've had the privilege of meeting with Mayor Todd Deinhardt, and really extend an offer to him, to this community. Who I am is I work with youth, specifically raising up leaders in Clark County, and not limited to Clark County, but we teach and model servant leadership. And so our meeting with Mayor Todd was to offer him a partnership and say, hey, we're here and we want to serve your community. What we're good at is, on top of what I've already mentioned, is uniting people and giving them an opportunity to take ownership, to take responsibility, and that's part of that leadership training. And so what we've done over the years in Clark County, I almost thought that was my timer, in Clark County is we've mobilized youth from many different schools, many different churches to come into this council that we put together, a community leadership council, and we give them an opportunity to come and dream and plan for what communities could look like. So when we met with Mayor Todd, we asked him, what part of your community that does your heart hurt for? Because what we're good at is involving youth. We're good at involving youth into a place of planning, a place of dreaming, but then also a place of implementation. And so we formed this flash mob-like community, except we call it Flash Love. That's the organization's name. And we go out and we serve in very interesting ways. So we do very normal-like events. Sometimes it's cleaning up graffiti, sometimes a riverbed. Other times it's bringing grocery bags to hurting families. And we learn those from our many relationships that we have, whether it's a school resource coordinator or someone in the social work sphere. And so we'll bring sometimes tens, sometimes over 100 youth that would pile into a school bus or two, and then we would just show up sometimes on a Saturday morning, sometimes at midnight. So to the police chief over there, I'd like to make a formal introduction. When we show up, sir, we come in peace. We just do things in very unconventional ways. And sometimes parents ask us, why do you do things so weird? And I ask him in return, try to convince youth to do very conventional things in very conventional ways. It doesn't work. So when we serve, we just make it fun. It's how we do it. And we've, over the years, we have a track record of 10 years, that what we've done in, across the region, mostly to the south of here, but we want to really extend and be a part of this community. And so as we extend a hand to a church, to a social organization, a school, we give them a seat at the table. But we also are going to have more presence here. I want just for a quick show of hands, if you would, those who came and are part of our youth leadership, could you please raise your hand? So there's just a few of us, and these are people who have taken responsibility and they're good at what they do. They're good at what they do. So not to make it this any longer, I just wanted to again say thank you for the opportunity to introduce myself, introduce this incredible team, and also for the future many conversations that we will have with you. God bless.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Do you have a card or anything?
I wish I was more prepared, but I could give you my number.
I would love that, so please see me.
Do you have any
course.
info you can email
Yes, sir.
council members and the city?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Do I have anybody else in the audience that would like to speak for items not on the agenda tonight? I don't know if there's anybody online. Are we on the Zoom call here, Amanda? I don't see it
Yeah,
up
you're
here.
on the Zoom call.
Yeah, you're on here. Duh.
Yeah, no one has their hand raised.
Nobody has their hand raised. Normally, I see like a window that shows me like multiple people here, but it's zoomed in, so I can't see anybody. All I see is a giant Todd face here. So.
What could be better?
So that's it for items not on the agenda. Do you want to speak to the items not on the agenda first, or do you want to go through items on the agenda too?
Let me speak really quickly on these, if you don't mind, Monty. Thank you. Hopefully everyone can hear me. So, Meg, thank you for coming up and speaking. Yes, I wanted to touch on that piece there. Talks around how we can partner, what we can do with the community. Obviously, we don't have any solutions. We don't have all the answers, but it starts with dialogue and conversation. So we're starting those conversations and dialogue, and obviously more to come. So I appreciate that. Bernice and Monica, I hear you loud and clear with regard to Meriwether piece there, the access gate. So Monica, you brought up the flyer that went to three neighborhoods.
Yeah.
I will take that action item and get back this week. Monica, if you'll leave your information with Amanda there before you leave tonight, I will follow up and find out what we did, how we did it, because that probably isn't what we should have done. There is more work to be done here. The Rotary Club, their permit ends in June of this year, and that's why they asked for went for a extension or a new permit in January because of that. So more discussions obviously happening there. I will take that action item and we'll come back with a workshop and talk about it. Mr. Pettit, with the trees, I will work with Jade on that, our compliance code enforcement, make sure that she's aware of that. Same with you, Heath, on the barking dog issue. Those both need to go to our code enforcement. Again, our code enforcement works on complaints rather than them going out and driving around to find complaints. So with that, Mr. Perry, on the lake, obviously I don't have all the answers there. I will actually work with Tim from the Public Works Department to find out, understand exactly the inflow, outflow, and the pumps on that and get back to you. That is news to me about it being higher than normal for past winters. Ed, talking about, and I want to touch about really quickly on the subdivision that's going in between Inzel, on 503 between Inzel and Gun Club. I heard Amanda talk a little bit about it, but I couldn't catch all of it, so if it's a repeat, I apologize. Just bear with me for the couple minutes here. So on that piece there, what has happened right now is that contractor, that developer, has a fill and grade permit, which is active, which is allowing them to clear and move dirt. The planning phase, as far as what will be built, has not been approved. There's nothing that's on that. Originally, they proposed apartments, but then now they're exploring single-family homes. The discussion with those single-family homes, they would need a amendment to the code. For example, their lot width would need to go from a 24 feet to 18 feet. Their depth would still remain 80 feet. They would need their front and rear setbacks to go from a 15-foot setback to a 10-foot. The minimum front yard of the garages would be about 20 foot. So there's a few things that I've read, trying to get caught up over the last 35 days that I've now been into this, trying to understand that. Because again, when I came home from work one day and all of a sudden those trees and everything was down, I was like, ooh, you know, right in my own backyard, what's going on here? So my apologies, but that's where that stands right now. And then with the alignment of the roadway, with not it being an exact match, unfortunately, we have property owners on both sides of that piece of property who are not willing to sell and to, you know, work with us as far as aligning those driveways exactly onto Inzel, which is really disappointing there, because that is a big push, and I think that's a detriment to our city. So hopefully Ed, that takes care of a little bit of that. And then Andre, thank you for coming, you and all your group. I do have your card and your information. If you want to send it over again, feel free, but I will send that all to the council members so we can get more information. One of the first steps that we talked about was coming to a council meeting and talking about it so that we could get the ball rolling. So I appreciate you showing up tonight, you and all the other individuals. Thank you. That's what I had for that piece and responding. Again, if there's something I didn't respond to or you have questions, let me know. Feel free to reach out via email, call, and I'll certainly get back to all of you. Okay.
Okay. Move on to items for citizens' communications for items on the agenda. I don't have anybody on here. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak for items on the agenda tonight? Is there anybody online who would like to speak for items on the agenda tonight? I'm not seeing anybody, so we will move on to make a motion for, Chair will accept a motion for agenda approval. Do we want to?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as submitted.
Okay.
Second.
we take the roll?
Councilmember Houston? Councilmember Frymark?
Aye.
Councilmember Hall?
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy?
Aye.
Councilmember Burke?
Aye.
Councilmember Smith?
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds?
Aye.
All in favor? So we'll move on to public hearing. Do we have to move into public hearing, Frank? So I have to state the time and everything for public hearing? Okay. So we will move in, time is 7:40, and we will move into a public hearing. And first item on the public hearing is ordinance number 1552, garbage and recycling rate increases. And do we open it up for public comment at that point? So do I have anybody who would like to come up and speak to ordinance number 1552? Mr. Lynette.
As we look at the services that we receive from that company now, they're pretty minimal, and we pay a ton of money for, we can't recycle plastic, we can't recycle glass, there's so many things we can't recycle because that company has said, no, you can't use the recycle bins that way. We have to fill our trash cans with yard debris because you can't put it into a recycle bin. But if I throw it in my 10-foot trailer and haul it up there, then I pay for it to be dumped there for the recycle. Okay, I get that. But then I turn right around, they sell it for recycled material or for landscaping material for companies. I just don't think we're getting a fair break. I don't. And if you call them up and you want a trash can replaced because it's broken, that takes a long, long time to do that. Now, the guys and gals that come out and service my home anyway are excellent. They do a great job. Don't have any problem with that at all. But I know fuel costs have gone up. I know employee costs have gone up. So has my fixed income gone down. Every year my pension gets smaller and smaller because of the increases of all this stuff. And so I've called up there to talk to them, and they're very curt. They don't want to talk to you. They don't want to answer any questions. I don't even know who owns the company. I've been told on a couple occasions it's owned by somebody from China. I wouldn't doubt it. I don't have any idea. But do we have an opportunity as a city to review the contract and approve it? I mean, what do they do? What services do they provide? And I think that bears some asking questions of the folks that are the managers up there. I know garbage trucks are expensive. I get that. I haven't seen a new one in a long, long time. One of the interesting things I saw recently was a recycle truck that came by, took garbage, and the garbage truck that came by took recycle. I mean, I don't think they go to different places. I think they just have two trucks, fill them up with whatever they're going to do, and dump them wherever they're going to go. I can't prove that. I'm not expert in that area, but I'd really like to have some answers on that and why the costs have to go up and what the rate is that's going to go up.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Do I have anybody else in the audience that would like to come up and speak on ordinance number 1552? Okay, seeing none, do I have anybody online that would like to speak on ordinance number 1552?
I'd like to speak really quickly, just responding to Ed. So Ed, this contract continues through the December 31, 2025. It's a contract that we signed in 2015. So absolutely, when we go out for new contracts next year and things, we will need to take those things into consideration. Absolutely agree.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I can't hear you, sorry.
He said thank you. He sat down.
Okay. Yeah, I could see him sat down, but I could see his lips move. That's why I said I couldn't hear him. So, yep.
Since my lips move all the time.
Okay. So is this, we move on to council discussion? No? And then, so we'll move on to ordinance number 1553, which is end commercial industrial impact fee holiday early. So do I have anybody in the council chambers that would like to come up and speak on ordinance number 1553?
Do we have to close that one first?
We're in public hearing.
Still in public hearing.
You have to close it, then go for the new one.
Do we close on the one first?
I mean, you take the public
public impact on both issues, and then
Right.
later
Okay.
on,
Okay.
you'll actually.
Then close out a public hearing on both of them? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Sorry. Do we have anybody in the audience that would like to speak on ordinance number 1553, ending the commercial industrial impact fee holiday early? Is there anybody online that would like to speak regarding ordinance number 1553?
Mayor Pro Tem Jennifer Ray Keene with the Port of Woodland would like to make a comment.
Go ahead, Ms. Keene.
Thank you. Speaking as the executive director of the Port of Woodland, we would sincerely hope that the council would take this action and end the suspension of the vacation. We are in full support of that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody else online that would like to speak regarding ordinance number 1553? Seeing none, at this point, we will end the public hearing regarding ordinance number 1552, garbage and recycling rate increases, and ordinance number 1553, and the commercial industrial impact fee holiday. And at this point, we will move on to reports of city council. State the time, sorry. And the time is 7:46, and we will mark the end of the public hearing at 7:46. I'll figure it out here shortly. Now we'll take reports of city council. Do I have anybody? Ms. Dowdy?
I will say that I did attend the speeches that the candidates for Planners Day Princess did, and there were 6 candidates this year, and it's the first time that they had lots to choose from. And so I was very proud of all the girls that came out and gave it their best shot this year. I know it takes a lot to get out there and get outside your comfort zone. So for all of them, I just want to just say, great job for getting outside their comfort zone. So.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to report?
I
You,
I did
Mr.
make
Burke?
the COG meeting by Zoom, and everything went good. I think we got a grant that was $400,000. I forget which one it was, but it's already been reported.
Okay.
So.
Is there anybody
I
else?
took a tour
Mr.
of
Freemark?
the water plant and the sewer plant. About a week and a half ago, I took a tour of both plants, the water and the sewer, and I was impressed by our employees out there on it. They've got a difficult job to do. It looks like the city is being amply taken care of in both plants. We need to spend some money, big time on it, some real deficits, which we're in the plan there though, but the personnel out there struck me as very competent and very city orientated. I believe we owe them a vote of confidence just in general on it. I was pleased by the tours. Very, very informative. With some engineering background, they gave me an extended tour, a couple of 3 hours on each one of those, and I was quite pleased.
Thank you, Mr. Freemark. And I attended a meeting about the, is it the mobile home park there? I don't remember the organization that she was part of, but is it Vicky? Is that right? Victoria? Yeah.
It was
Rock Northwest. Okay. And thank you for the mayor to bring me in on that meeting. I just happened to be in the office that day, and he drug me in there to sit and hear that, and it was informative, and I did appreciate going to it. So thank you. And I'll be curious what we can come up with and see if there's something that we can do to help. So, is there anybody else that would like to report for City Council?
I don't know the protocols, I'm asking, can we respond to a report?
Not at this time.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so we will move on to reports of standing committee. First one is public safety.
Yes, we met at 5:58, and I was elected committee chair tonight. And so myself, Councilmember Rounds, Councilmember Hall, and Chief Kelly were all present in our meeting. And tonight's new business was that the department was prepared to move forward with the promotional process, but there have been some delays. And so the sergeant's exam will take place sometime in April. And following the sergeant's promotion, there will be aggressive pursuit of filling the vacant lieutenant's position. The department will also move forward to fill the vacant officer position authorized by the City Council in the current 2024, so that new position that we created. Right now, we have one vacant sergeant position, and so we will wait to see what happens with all the testing. And so we're looking forward to that. And that's it for right now. And then we adjourned at 6:20.
Thank you.
And no meeting next month.
Oh, our next meeting is March 4th, and then there will be no meeting in April.
Does anybody have any questions for Councilmember Dowdy? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to Public Works, and I will do the report for that one. So we met at 6 p.m. today in the conference room. Gosh, I cannot get words out. I apologize. First thing we did, first order of business, was to elect a new chair. I was elected chair. In attendance to the meeting was Tim Sarvala, is that how you say it? Myself, Councilmember Houston, and Councilmember Freemark. Frymark? Gosh, I'm going to brutal it every time. I apologize. And I was elected to be the chair, so at this point, I will review some of the topics we went over. We went over a lot, so I'm just going to skim the surface here. One of the things that was talked about was Department of Health. They want to do an inventory of all the lead piping in the city, and Public Works is pushing to get that done this year. I think it's a requirement by the Department of Health to get it done, so they are really pushing to make sure that they get it done. They have to check the private side and the public side to verify if there's any lead piping in the city. The position of water treatment plant operator, one of our current employees was promoted into that position. And the Rainy pump number 2 seized up and needs to be repaired. This shows that cleaning laterals is quite important. That pump lasted 2 to 3 years, I think is what Tim was saying. So it is important that we make sure we keep those laterals clean. 2 years on a pump, it seems a little bit of a short time, but the iron is pretty high in that pipe from what I'm being told. We did 64 rereads this month, and they're going to look into possibly potential for upgrading the meters to some sort of networking meter or something that would slow down or eliminate the possible for rereads. It's just in the beginning stages of maybe when we replace a meter, put in a new one with the networking capability, but not fully have the system up and running right off the bat, or look at replacing them all if it is possible. Lift station number 8, the upgrade is complete. And they are continuously working on potholes around the city. They go through about a pallet a month of pothole patch. And just so everybody is aware, they wanted to make sure that they know that Lewis River Highway is not the city who repairs those potholes. That is the state. So if you have a complaint about a pothole on Lewis River Highway, you can call and let us know, but we won't be able to repair it. That'll end up going to the state. And that would be it. Does anybody have any questions for Public Works? Okay, seeing none.
I just wanted to add that you said that the Public Works met, on the paper it says 5/5 of 2024. So that would be wrong, right?
Oh, yeah, it
Yes,
does.
that is definitely wrong. 2/5 of 2024. And our next meeting is on March 4th of 2024 at 6 p.m. Thank you. We'll move on to reports of city officers. Mayor, if you're still on here.
Yep, I'm on here, so thank you. First thing is, you touched on it really quickly, Monty, but I just want to make sure people are aware. the Rainy Well project. So that is the pump station that's right across from Ace Hardware. You'll see some construction and things going on there. That was approved last council meeting, working on that project, getting the right timing, doing it while low usage of water is happening. So nice job on that piece. Thank you for touching that. I want to touch on the Woodland School levy. Just a reminder, ballots are due February 13th. Again, I'm not here to tell you to vote yes or no, but I am here to tell you to use your ability to vote. That is all of our responsibility, so please turn your ballots in by next Tuesday and voice your opinion, please. Friends of the Library will be holding a Red Barn event April 27th up at the Red Barn. So that is something there that we can all support. So if people are interested in that. Speaking of the Red Barn, I want to go back to property. I think it was Monica that said something about property and selling. I want to be clear what my discussion is and what my workshop will be coming forward to talk with council. It will be excess buildings. So selling property within the land and that I'm not interested in. I think we need to preserve that and do our best as we can. It's the buildings. So there's 5 or 6 buildings there that were pretty vacant, and that's the discussion I want to have. So just a little bit of clarity there. Like the food cards, for example. We made $45 this month on that food card in the month of January. Again, right, wrong, or indifferent, I want the citizens in the community to know that that was what we took it for the rent on that. Open positions, I appreciate you touching on the lieutenant and those positions, Melissa, and working with the chief. The public works director position, we've had a couple applicants. It closes in March 1st, and I have not gone through and looked at the applicants. I want everyone to have a fair shot. I don't want to start looking and start making decisions and going through that piece. So literally we are waiting till March 1st to look at those. And then in the next coming weeks, I will propose and bring an org chart to council, part of the workshop, and discuss what I think we should have the city look at with the need of a clerk treasurer and whether or not we need an administrator in that piece there. And then the last piece, somebody talked about the agenda, whether or not council there. So according to our ordinances and our code, we need to have the agenda done by 5 p.m. on Thursday. We've hit that deadline. We do have some little bit of tweaking that we've added and changed things on Friday. But Amanda, I give her kudos, and I've worked very diligently. Every Wednesday night before I shut the computer off, I will go through and make sure I approve everything so that then she can get it posted on Thursday by 5 p.m. So we're working our best there, and I think that we're hitting those deadlines. So thank you, Amanda. And that's what I got.
All right, thank you, Mayor. And don't have anybody else on here. I don't know, Chief, do you have anything to report? No? So we do have Clark County Fire here. Do you have anything to report, Chief Jackson?
We are here just for the fire code adoption, should there be any questions.
Okay. All right. Bear with me here.
Upcoming events.
So, past meeting information, there was a public hearing on Logan's Landing on January 29th of 2024. And the upcoming events, February 15th, 2024, Planning Commission meeting is canceled. And February 19th, city offices are closed for President's Day. And February 20th is our council meeting at 7 p.m. That's going to be a Tuesday since it's a holiday on that Monday. So our next council meeting will be a Tuesday for everybody out there. And then February 28th, we have a public hearing on Trammell Crow at 1 p.m. I'm assuming, is that in council chambers, that public hearing? Okay. Did
Yeah,
I say
so
that right?
hey, Monty, really quickly.
Yes.
Just so people are aware, the public hearing on Logan's Landing, that is open for another 2 weeks. The hearings examiner welcomed more comments for the next 2 weeks. So if people have comments about that.
Okay. And we will move on to consent item. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. On
Councilmember
the planning commission meetings, they've been canceled for the last 3 months. We got a lot of work going on. Are they meeting about anything? They just get it done? I mean, there's no meetings.
I'm not sure. Is there?
So,
Go ahead, Mayor.
AJ?
Yeah.
So I absolutely agree. That's one of the things I need to get my head wrapped around and focus on and figure out how to get that pipeline working more appropriately and working, meeting regularly like they should. 100% agree. Again, I have to prioritize what I've got going on, and that just isn't one that I've been able to in the last 35 days. So, and that's why I come here and I try to be, upfront with everybody about what is going on and out there and about without the public works director. So the 15th one is canceled, though. It's because Travis is gone and we don't have a public works director, and he would kind of fill in for that.
Okay. All right. At this time, let's take a motion for consent items.
Motion to approve consent items?
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Dowdy, seconded by Councilmember Burke. Ms. Hogan?
Councilmember Hall,
Aye.
Councilmember Frymark,
Aye.
Councilmember Houston,
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy,
Aye.
Councilmember Burke,
Aye.
Councilmember Smith,
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
All right, all approved. This time we'll move on to action item D. Clerk Treasurer approve vouchers. Chair will take a motion at this point.
I make a motion to approve the vouchers.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Burke, seconded by Councilmember Rounds. Councilmember Burke.
I think they all should need to be paid. I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. Everything looked good.
Councilmember Rounds.
And good
Same.
progress.
Okay, any further discussion regarding vouchers?
Yeah, I see still a couple of miscellaneous items on there, 3 of them, much better than it was the last time around. But I'd like those miscellaneous names to be replaced with more definitive description of what that expense really is involved with.
Ms. Hogan?
So Councilmember Frymark, what you're looking at on that voucher report is actually the name of the code it's posted to. If you want more information, you'd have to look at the invoice itself. So that's the name of the code it's coded to.
Good to know.
Okay. Any further discussion? Councilmember Dowdy?
It says that there was an elevator fine. Were we actually fined for, do you know? Anybody?
I would have to look at the invoice.
Okay.
That briefly came up in our Public Works. They apparently missed a couple of inspections on the elevator, and that building, 100 Davison, and the question in our Public Works is whether we need to have that elevator anymore, because currently they're paying about $4K a year, roughly, to keep that elevator operational. So they will be looking in to see if that is needing to be operational anymore to hopefully avoid any future issues like that.
Okay.
I don't know if they were for sure fined. Does it say they were for sure fined? They didn't come up saying
Well,
they were
it
for sure fined,
says,
but they were fined?
it does. It
Okay.
says $114.10, and it's listed as elevator fine, but it's listed miscellaneous.
Yes.
But
Maybe the fine is cheaper than maintaining it.
Well, we still have to, Monty, we still have to maintain it now, so we're going to pay the expense and we're going to pay the fine. So, yeah, again,
I think
gotta
that was
move
a
on.
that was a discussion, and ultimately the discussion was pointed back towards the mayor, and you guys discuss what you want to do with the building at this point. So.
Exactly. So, yep. But yeah, those were missed inspections from last year, so we're on the hook for the fines.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none. Ms. Hogan, will take the roll.
Councilmember Dowdy,
Aye.
Councilmember Hall,
Aye.
Councilmember Frymark,
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds,
Aye.
Councilmember Burke,
Aye.
Councilmember Houston, Councilmember Smith.
Aye. All approved. Move on to action item E, resolution number 762, water sewer main connection fee review. Chair will take a motion at this point.
I'd make motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Councilmember Burke, seconded by Councilmember Rounds. Councilmember Burke.
Yeah, we voted on that one before last year, and the reason I think we're voting again is because it wasn't signed by the mayor. So I think what we're trying to do is make it legal and sign it now.
Okay.
Am I right?
Correct.
Yes.
Councilmember Rounds.
Concur with Mr. Burke.
All right, and I'm seeing some head nodding from the mayor, so that sounds like that's pretty accurate.
Correct. We're just getting our ducks in a row and crossing the T's and dotting our I's.
Okay. Do I have any further discussion regarding action item E, resolution number 762? Okay, seeing none. Ms. Hogan?
Councilmember Smith,
Aye.
Councilmember Houston, Councilmember Hall,
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds,
Aye.
Councilmember Freimark,
Aye.
Councilmember Burke,
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Move on to action item F, ordinance number 1552, garbage and recycling rate increases. First reading.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Burke, seconded by Councilmember Dowdy. Councilmember Burke.
Yeah, I just noticed it's about $1 for residents, a little less than $1 a month. So, and I think we need to look in to see if there isn't somebody better next time and go from there. But we need to keep getting it picked up right now.
Councilmember Dowdy.
Yeah, I did go over the rates. They had a good comparison with the old rate and new rate, and it is less than $1. So, I mean, at this point, we do need to keep having our trash and stuff picked up because I don't want to keep making trips to the dump to do it. So,
Do I have any further discussion? So this is, Councilmember Freemark.
Yeah,
Freimark.
I appreciate the comments the gentleman earlier about the garbage rates. I think it's something we have to look at very carefully. So I'm not particularly pleased they won't recycle glass and plastic. First place I've ever seen like that. So I agree. We need to look at that very carefully next time around.
I won't say nothing, but
Okay. This is a pass-through for the city. So our hands are tied. If we don't approve the rate increase, the city ends up eating the cost of this, and it'll come right out of the city budget at that point. I have heard some complaints in the past about, being required to have garbage service. So maybe that's something we discuss. I know there's some seniors in here that I've talked to, not in here personally right now, but they personally would rather not have garbage service and just take and haul the 1 or 2 cans a month down and drop them off to avoid the high cost of the bill that they pay every month and barely fill a garbage can. I don't know if that's something we wanted to look into. I could see both sides of it, that you're going to have people that don't actually have garbage hauled away, but maybe that's something we want to talk about to take it out of the city's hands, and people can decide for themselves whether they want to provide garbage service or not. And then they can decide if that dollar increase is too much in the future. But it sounds like our contract goes till 2025, I think, at this point. So at this point, I'm in favor of the dollar increase. Do I have anybody else who would like to discuss garbage service? Seeing none, Ms. Hogan, can we take the roll?
Councilmember Hall,
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds,
Aye.
Councilmember Burke,
Aye.
Councilmember Houston, Councilmember Dowdy,
Aye.
Councilmember Freimark,
Aye.
Councilmember Smith.
Aye. Motion carries. Move on to action item G, ordinance number 1553, end the commercial industrial impact fee holiday early. First reading.
Motion to approve?
I'll go second.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Dowdy, seconded by Councilmember Burke. Councilmember Dowdy.
Yeah, I think this is something that actually Councilmember Burke brought back up to the table. But I do agree that at this point, it's only a 6-month window early, and so the chances of anybody even being able to build in that 6 months is very unlikely. But I think that with everything going on in our city and with the times that we're in, that it's wise for us to go ahead and end it now and not wait the 6 months.
Yeah, let's get,
Councilmember Burke.
yeah, I think it needs to be removed. Nobody can put in for it anyway. Just get rid of it, and that way, don't have to worry about an extension.
Councilmember Rounds.
Actually, it doesn't take effect until March 1, if we do this. So you're only talking 3 months early. There's nothing in the works to create, but from this here, it ends in June, and so as far as I'm concerned, it can stay in effect until the end of June.
Any further comment? So originally this was put in. We were looking at a downturn of the economy. People were concerned about that. And it was to try to give a break for some businesses to hopefully try to get some decent wage jobs in Woodland. This was one of the ways to try to give a break. It doesn't sound like it's been utilized a whole lot. I agree with Councilmember Rounds. The end, it won't be in place until March. The end is in June. I'm not somebody who enjoys moving goalposts for people. If there is a business that's planning this and they've already decided and they're trying to work through the process right now, I feel like we're yanking that goalpost out and all of their planning is just been changed. So I think sticking to the original plan and going till June, it doesn't sound like it's going to impact much, but if there was somebody who's already planned on this, I'm not somebody who likes to move the goalposts at the last minute for people. So I feel like it should stay until June at this point. Now, extending it, I'm probably not going to be in favor of extending it at this point, but you're talking 3 months difference here. Do I have any further comments from council?
I
Councilmember Burke?
did talk to Travis, and there's nobody that could put in for it. So he said, he agreed with me that it should be removed.
Okay. Any further comments? Okay, seeing none. Ms. Hogan?
Councilmember Burke,
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds,
No.
Councilmember Freimark,
Present.
You can't.
I don't have an opinion one way or the other. Just
Yeah,
I
you-
don't know enough about it.
So, council rules, you can't take a present vote.
Appreciate that advice.
Councilmember Houston, Councilmember Smith,
No.
Councilmember Dowdy,
Aye.
Councilmember Hall,
No.
So ordinance fails. 3 yeses, 4 noes. And move on to action item H. Ordinance number 1554, 2021 Building Code Update. First reading. Chair will take a motion. All right.
Actually, motion to approve.
Do I have a second on ordinance number 1554, building code update, first reading. I got motion by Councilmember Dowdy and a second by Councilmember Houston. Councilmember Dowdy.
Yeah, so I did look this over, and basically what it was talking about was the building codes are supposed to be in 3 years intervals, and so in 2021, the 2018 codes are supposed to be replaced, and which were replacing the 2015, but because of COVID, everything was delayed, and so the 2018 codes didn't go into effect until June, and then the 2021 codes were supposed to go in effect in July, and so it just made no sense to double code everything, and so this basically just pushed everything back, and so now they want it to go in effect for March of 2024. And so this is just saying that we will have it now so that we will be actively in effect March 24 to be following the new codes.
Councilmember Houston. Okay. Do I have any further?
Is that all that was changed? Is the dates? I see something here about the I'm going blank when disabled. Let me get back to it.
So the Washington changed it so that there was not hardships and challenges for the building industry, and so they pushed everything back.
Okay.
So what they're doing is they changed it, instead of October of 2023, they changed it to March of 2024. And so we're just having to do this so that we're implementing that we are following the code come March 15th, 2024. And all of the building requirements that are being mandated.
Mayor Pro Tem, I might note the city's building official, Les Townsend, is here and may be able to speak to questions you have about the building code.
Does anybody have any questions, or do we want to suspend council rules and have somebody come up and speak on this?
Yes, motion to suspend rules and let him just confirm.
Okay, hold it. We have a motion.
I'll second.
Need a second. So motion by Councilmember Round, or Councilmember Dowdy, seconded by Councilmember Freemark.
Frymark.
Frymark.
Just put an I.
It doesn't matter.
Your name is officially changed in my head at this point.
To let-
Councilmember Dowdy. Comment.
I would like to have him clarify that I am correct.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Les
Hold on.
Townsend. Okay,
Sorry.
that's okay.
It's a formality here. Just got to go through it and do it correctly. Councilmember Frymark. You were the second on this. Do you have any
Yes,
comment?
Yes, I'd just like to hear.
Okay. Amanda, can we, am I doing this right? Frank? Suspend the rules. Amanda, can we take the roll on this?
Councilmember Rounds,
Aye.
Councilmember Smith,
Aye.
Councilmember Burke,
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy,
Aye.
Councilmember Hall,
Aye.
Councilmember Frymark,
Aye.
Councilmember Houston.
Okay, motion to suspend the rules to allow comment on this. Okay, if you could state your name and
Hi, I'm Les Townsend, President of Townsend Associates for the city's contract building official and plan reviewer and inspections. As you know, the state adopts the code every 3 years through the State Building Code Council. That was supposed to have been done by legislative action last July. That got pushed back because of a lawsuit that was filed in federal court with relation to the new energy code. So the State Building Code Council decided to hold off the formal state adoption. It kept getting pushed back, and as it stands right now, of course it could change tomorrow, the state is set to adopt the code effective in March of 24. What could change is we may still remain in the 2018 energy code because that lawsuit has not been settled yet. As you know, when the state adopts the code, that becomes the state minimum code with the state amendments, and then each jurisdiction can adopt the code with the restriction that they have to be more restrictive, they can't be less restrictive with any of their amendments, local amendments. So that's kind of where we're at now. We're just at the normal adoption that we go through every 3 years. But between COVID and this lawsuit, things got stretched out a little bit. So instead of, technically, we probably, usually the state adopts the printed edition 2 years after the printed edition. So in reality, we're about 2 years behind. The state's working to catch up, but that's kind of where we're at. There was no significant changes. The changes that you saw, as I went through, they're typically in the change in a code cycle, sections change, numbers change, thing gets moved around, so we have to make sure that we're coordinated that way.
So has the state adopted these?
They have adopted these, but it hasn't gone in. The State Building Code Council has held off putting it into effect until March. So the State Building Code Council has the final say. The state's done their adoption, they've done their amendments, everything's like it's supposed to be, but they've held off the implementation date until March. So March of 24, the 2021 cycle will be in effect.
Okay. Councilmember Burke?
Okay, and that's what I was looking at. I noticed the dates are changed and everything, but there's 3 changes to it in a chart here. If you want to look at it, and I can show you. And I'm not sure they're correct.
That's what the design criteria, and the cities choose their own criteria based upon climate conditions. So that's where that came from, and that was done at Travis's level.
Yeah, one says slight, which is in black letters, to moderate, which is in red letters.
That's the
One
change.
says slight 2 in red letters, to moderate in black letters. Is it the same? Or is that a mistake? Does it need to be corrected? See how they word it?
Black was the old, red is the updated change that we made to it, JJ.
Right,
So,
correct.
Less than one and more in the other.
Yeah, what should have happened, the black should have had a strike-through line through it, is what should have, on the actual.
Okay, so we're gonna get that corrected on that?
So it'll say moderate on the new version for
Whatever's-
termites,
No, it's just
slight for decay,
Yeah,
and then it'll say 22 degrees
okay,
for temperature.
Yes.
We can get that corrected on the second reading, is what you're going for?
yeah.
Okay.
I think this is the final reading.
Is this the final?
First reading.
I thought it said
I think it
first
says first and final. Does it not?
reading. I just see first.
That's all I see.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, I thought it was first.
Act.
The
Ordinance
final won't be
number. It says
until the
first.
20th meeting, so this is just
Okay,
a first
I
reading.
thought I read
Okay.
first and final, sorry.
no, final reading is on the 20th.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you. Appreciate it. Any further discussion? Okay. Seeing none. Ms. Hogan, can we take the roll?
Councilmember Hall,
Aye.
Councilmember Houston,
Aye.
Councilmember Burke,
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds,
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy,
Aye.
Councilmember Smith,
Aye.
Councilmember Frymark.
Aye.
All right. Motion carries. Move on to. Yep. Mr. Randolph.
Thank you. And I want to discuss the next topic, which is the missing middle housing grant, if I could discuss that briefly with the
Well,
council.
We're
J.
Oh.
That's J.
yeah. We're on I right now,
Okay, sorry.
but I'll call you up when we get
Okay,
J.
thank you.
Okay. So we'll move on to ordinance number 1555. Did I say too many fives there? 1555, 2021 Fire Code Update, first reading. Chair will take a motion at this point.
Make a motion to approve.
We have a first. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Rounds, seconded by Councilmember Hall. Councilmember Rounds.
I just wanted to point out that all the work that we did for Columbia River carbonates, this has no effect on them. So it's just updating their rules. Am I correct, Mr. Jackman?
That is correct. And over the past couple of code cycles, we've tried to clean language up, because before, pieces of the fire code dealing with access and different things were kind of scattered around the city code. There was some in the state adopted code, and then there was some things in the city code that were in conflict with that. So over the last 2 cycles, we have tried to streamline that and put everything in one single location under the fire code that's consistent with the rest of the way the state adopts it. The adoption cycle is the same as to Mr. Townsend led to. Essentially, the fire code is, for all intents and purposes, considered a chapter of the building code. So it's on that same cycle, and the timeline was for the same reasons it was for the building code. Specifically to the piece you spoke about, what was discussed with Columbia River Carbonates, that is correct. That language that was adopted by the council prior was carried over to this. We do have language that at some point we may look to take a peek at that we think addresses specifically Columbia River Carbonates concerns, but makes it to where there would be other businesses that would be protected with sprinklers should they come in, things like a foundry or places that do lots of metal work and grinding and things like that, that currently would be omitted from the requirements along with Columbia River Carbonates. But that was really the only substantial change.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. But at this point, Columbia River Carbonates is still, what we discussed is okay.
Yes, the previous discussion and what the council previously adopted
Right.
that eliminated fire sprinkler requirements for all factory class 2 and storage class 2 occupancies.
Okay,
That has been carried over to this.
Thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Hall?
Yeah, this reading just confirms what we discussed before, so.
Okay. Do I have any further discussion?
So, Chief
Councilmember
Jackson,
Freimark?
Are you saying that you've got no qualms or reservations about the wording as it is?
I think if I understood your question correct, if we have any concerns with the code as it's
Yes.
presented. We don't. Like I said, at some point we may come back and visit that. I think we have language that would address Columbia River Carbonate's concerns and remove a sprinkler requirement for them, although addressing it for potential future businesses that could come in under those classifications but pose a higher risk or level of concern than Columbia River Carbonates has. But we could address that at another time in coordination with Travis Goddard on that.
So you're good with it as of now?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Have any further discussion? Okay, seeing none. Hogan, can we take the roll?
Councilmember Burke,
Aye.
Councilmember Houston, Councilmember Smith,
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy,
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds,
Aye.
Councilmember Freimark,
Aye.
Councilmember Hall.
Aye.
Motion carries. Move on to action item J. Mr. Randolph, you have something to speak to on this for us?
Yes, sir, if I could ask they suspend the rules so I could explain why I came up here.
Do we have to
Make a
suspend them?
motion to suspend the rules so
Second.
our attorney can
Okay.
speak to this.
Do we have to suspend them again, or did we already suspend them once?
We only did it for one thing.
Okay.
Right.
So, Councilmember Rounds, motions to suspend the rules for discussion. Councilmember Dowdy, seconded. Any discussion?
None.
Can we just do an aye vote? If all in favor, say aye.
Yes.
Okay, all in
Aye.
favor, say aye. All-
Aye.
Motion, all opposed, say nay. All right, seeing none, motion carries.
Thank you. What I'm going to ask the council to do is postpone this vote to the next council. What this is it's the missing middle. Travis, who does great work, has been offered a $50,000 for the city grant to work on missing middle housing. Missing middle housing is right now, the real estate is very expensive. And so the basic idea, as I understand it, is that they change the rules so that it becomes easier to build more houses on a smaller property. And that's why it's sort of the missing middle, that we have low-income housing, we have higher-income housing, but there is a need for something that is less expensive but still better. The problem, but I'm concerned about that, because so like, you know, because there are strings attached to it. And I have practiced law and real estate. And one of the things is that the Department of Commerce is that we don't have to do this. Larger cities have to do this. We don't have to do this. So if we do it voluntarily. But the problem is that Department of Commerce reserves the right to change the rules on land capacity, meaning how many houses can you put on the land, and also buildable land guidance. So if we got into it, they could change the rules on how many houses to get in the area and also a building, which as a real estate attorney, that makes me nervous. You go in, you make a deal, and then all of a sudden one side gets to change the deal without the other. That makes me uncomfortable. It is a debated issue throughout the country. This is not unique to Washington. And so this is a fight that's in Arlington County, right outside of Washington, D.C. That kind of shows you, and when I looked at it, it looked pretty good, because, I mean, there were cogent arguments made on both sides, but when it actually came to a decision by the councils or by the county commission, it was very heatedly debated. And so what I would suggest is that maybe this is a good deal, but again, maybe it's a Trojan horse. I would think that we ought to postpone it. I exchanged email with the Department of Commerce person, very pleasant, said, hey, we just want to get this wrapped up, which I understand, but it looks like we have a little bit of time. And my thought is that, again, I have not had a chance to discuss it with the mayor, but somehow have put together before the next, postpone this to the next meeting and put together some sort of group. I'm glad to be part of it. Travis is not available, but maybe like one or two council members or something, take a look at what the debate is elsewhere so that we have a chance to take a look at it. Because again, I'm skeptical of free money, especially when the other side can change the rules. Again, might be a really good deal, but I'm not comfortable, and I think we can delay it to try and see if we have some consensus that this is in fact a good deal for Woodland.
Okay.
So can I chime in here? Can I chime in?
Yeah. You are the mayor.
So just so you're aware, Frank, we had a workshop last council meeting. And again, I don't know that we will even get enough to pass this first resolution here, this first reading, because I think, a lot of us a lot of people on the council have my same opinions about this. So this was brought forward previously in previous discussions, and so this is kind of a way for us either to continue on or to put it to bed finally.
Well, Mayor,
So, I think I would propose at least, let's see if we can get, if anyone wants to move forward even.
Okay, I would defer to your judgment, Mayor.
Just speak
In the microphone. Frank,
Speak
in the microphone.
Okay, I'm sorry. Mayor, I would defer to your judgment. Seems like you're further ahead of it than me, but I think it needs, and if the council already knows it, then I'll back off. If there's something that needs to be discussed, then we do it. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My hunch is it's probably not
Yeah,
going to move
thanks, Frank.
forward.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think we delayed it long enough.
So we are on action item J, authorize mayor to enter into a contract for the missing middle housing grant.
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Burke, seconded by Councilmember Rounds. Councilmember Burke.
I put the motion on the floor to put it to rest. We are not required, we're under 25,000 people. It's not where our city is not even under the legislative on this item here. So I suggest you say no.
Councilmember Rounds.
That's my feelings exactly. They haven't put it into effect yet for us, and so I don't think we need to jump the gun and go to it. So.
Councilmember Dowdy.
And I totally agree, and like we said, 50,000 is not worth
No.
being tied to.
Agreed. So I just want to make sure we do not have a motion on the floor to authorize me to sign this contract, correct?
So at this point, the motion is to approve, but we could have made a motion
We've
to
got-
deny, right?
That'll come
So-
up on a vote.
We can, so,
Motion to amend to deny instead of approve.
If you vote no, you
Motion-
denied it.
we have a motion on the floor. So, motion by Councilmember Dowdy to deny or a motion to amend the existing motion to deny the missing middle,
To decline the offer.
to decline the offer. Thank you.
Yes.
Do I have a second? So,
Yes, second.
okay, I got a second by Councilmember Houston. Councilmember Dowdy.
I don't think I want to be on record that we're ever voting to approve this. I want to be saying that we're against taking this money at all. So
Okay.
that's where I stand.
Councilmember Houston.
Same thing, it's not worth tying your hands tied over $50,000.
Okay.
I would agree with our
Councilmember
attorney on
Freimark.
this. Yes, I'm definitely against it. It's too little money and too much risk on the other end.
Agreed.
So at this point, we have a amendment to change the original motion over to deny the money.
Correct. So an aye vote would vote it down.
Well, an aye vote changes the amendment. Do we still have to vote on the original amendment? Just so I'm trying to work my way through all of
So what do we?
the insanity here, so bear with me.
I'll
So,
let you know.
so at this point, we are voting to approve an amendment to the original motion
To make it.
to change it to denying the grant, offer of the grant. Ms. Hogan, can we take the roll?
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
Councilmember Smith.
Aye.
Councilmember Burke.
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy.
Aye.
Councilmember Houston.
Aye.
Councilmember Hall.
Aye.
Councilmember Freimark.
Aye.
So, motion carries to amend the original motion. So now we have amended the original motion to deny the offer of the grant money. Do I have any comment
So that make,
on this?
so that makes my aye vote the way you want to be.
So if you vote aye, you're denying to
Right.
take the money. Yes.
So yes, and I vote would deny this at this point.
I was just trying to save a step.
Do I have any other comments? Seeing none. Ms. Hogan.
Councilmember Houston.
Aye.
Councilmember Freimark.
Aye.
Councilmember Hall.
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy.
Aye.
Councilmember Burke.
Aye.
Councilmember Smith.
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
Motion
you
carries
guys scared.
to deny funding for the missing middle grant, or the offer for the funding. Okay,
Just,
action item K. Authorize mayor to seek additional funding from the Drinking Water State Revolving Fund loan contract, DWL 28171-0 for water treatment plant filter number 2 and number 3 restoration and media replacement. Chair will take a motion. I will motion to authorize mayor to seek additional funding.
Second. Oh,
So,
sorry.
That's all right.
Councilmember Smith motions to approve. Councilmember Dowdy. This is why I don't do the original motion. It's hard for me to work my brain. Councilmember Dowdy, second. So this is to add funding because we needed more funding to it. Is that right, Ms. Hogan? The discussion we had earlier today about it?
Yes.
Okay. And this is to keep the project going for the filter number 2 and number 3. Is that my understanding, Mayor?
Correct.
Okay. Councilmember Dowdy.
It needs to get done.
Do I have any further comment?
So just for full transparency, what it does is it increases the monthly payment by $1,600 a month. It gets it so that we have the engineering, we have everything fully included in this project now. After we went to RFP, it aligns and get us all ready so that we're moving forward with this project. So it's a project we need to get done, and now we've worked with Department of Health to get the loan to what we really needed rather than the previous amount. So a lot of hard work from our city over the last week and a half to get this updated.
And that the loan wasn't approved for enough, and we went back and were able to secure more on the original loan. Okay.
Correct. We went back to the Department of Health to get that here about 2 weeks ago.
Okay. Do I have any other further comments? Okay. Seeing none. Ms. Hogan, can we take the roll?
Councilmember Hall.
Aye.
Councilmember Houston.
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
Councilmember Burke.
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy.
Aye.
Councilmember Frymark.
Aye.
Councilmember Smith.
Aye. Motion carries. Move on to action item L. Authorize the mayor to sign professional service agreement with Gray and Osborne for water treatment plant filter number 2 and number 3 project construction, management, and inspection services.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Dowdy, seconded by Councilmember Burke. Councilmember Dowdy.
This is just going with now that we have all the funding, this is who we're going to use for the construction management and inspection.
Councilmember Burke.
I agree.
Any further comment? Seeing none. Ms. Hogan.
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
Councilmember Houston. Councilmember Smith.
Aye.
Councilmember Frymark.
Aye.
Councilmember Burke.
Aye.
Councilmember Hall.
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Move on to action item M. Authorize selection of contractor Precision Industrial Contractors, Inc. for water treatment plant filter number 2 and number 3 restoration and media replacement project.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Dowdy, second by Councilmember Burke. Councilmember Dowdy.
Same as above, but this is for the contractor.
Councilmember Burke.
Same, correct. I approve, yeah.
Do I have any further comments by council? Seeing none. Ms. Hogan, can we take the roll?
Councilmember Dowdy.
Aye.
Councilmember Burke.
Aye.
Councilmember Hall.
Aye.
Councilmember Smith.
Aye.
Councilmember Frymark.
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
Councilmember Houston.
Motion carries. And it is time. Does everybody want a 5-10 minute break before we end?
Motion to end meeting.
Just motion to end the meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Seeing none. Motion to end the meeting at 8:42. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Nice job, Bonnie.
Thank you, Mayor.
We could have saved that whole step. We could have saved that whole step, but I know. I did that on purpose.